Good evening and welcome to the Ogden City Council meeting for Tuesday, June 18th, 2013. Let the roll call reflect that all council members are present. We'll now have Vice Chair Garner lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Would everyone please rise and repeat after me? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Now we'll observe a moment of silence. Okay, thank you. First up are public hearings. Mr. Cook.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of council, Mr. Johnson. It's my privilege tonight to present the proposed final fiscal year 2014 budget. Excuse me. And to begin with, just to make note of many people that spend a great deal of time on this, so we give thanks to all of those, many in the administration, and on the council and council staff as well. We've had a great team effort this year and much appreciated the collaboration on the budget. As always, the council uses a number of filters when considering a proposed budget, and the goals, which you've had for a few years now, highlight our thriving economy, stable, safe neighborhoods, involved citizens, activities accessible, and being known for our rich natural environment. So that's the beginning filter that we look at. As a result, the council goes through a process for determining what the legislative projects are for the next year, and this year you've identified 10. And they're identified in a document, looks like this, and those are available out in the foyer for anyone who'd like copies of those. So we look forward to progressing and making progress on those particular projects. The budget process, as you know it, as I mentioned, does take quite a bit of time. This is a very simplified graphic for the process the administration goes through to present a proposed budget to you. It does take several months of their time, energy, and effort. That then comes to the council, and by state law, the council's time frame is defined from the first Tuesday in May through June 22nd. So you need to be finished by that time, and we go through this process during those 6 weeks, basically, to end up with a final budget. In terms of total dollars, so there's a proposed budget, a tentative, which you've adopted, the tentative already, which did not make any changes. So the recommended is different this year. So city budget goes from 141.1 million to 155.1. So about a $14 million increase. I'll explain the differences in a moment. So if you include the redevelopment agency and the municipal building authority, the total goes from 163.9 to 178 million. So those are the totals. You do have a public hearing on the salary schedule. This will be your first public hearing. That includes a number of things: 2% pay for performance salary increase, a 1% bonus, and the retirement costs being fully funded, and then no more progress. Oh, there we go. The city is paying a 4.17% increase in the health savings, basic health savings account, and then discounts are made available to all those employees that are participating in the wellness program. Benchmarking did occur this year, again, which is a very good process, a very intensive one. There were 21 classification ranges that were adjusted this year. There were 6 positions eliminated, 10 positions added. So in the final budget, there's a Schedule A, which includes all of the changes that the council will be making. So a little over $14 million. There's a document that's called Schedule A. Again, copies are available in the foyer on this as well. It's a 3-page document which details. So in summary, the major change is in the inclusion of water system bonds of $13.8 million. The water revenue was adjusted as well to align with the rate study. And then that, then increased the number of administrative charges by $128,000. Those administrative charges, that money comes into the general fund. So there were some dollars that needed to be appropriated, and then there were some other adjustments. The council had dialogue and it now includes $60,000 for a facility study. There's an opportunity to re-stucco the Mount Ogden clubhouse, and so that's proposed at $20,000, which I have been told by the administration is quite a bargain for what will be occurring. The remainder, there was an amount that was a remainder of $22,493. That's going into the council office budget, and that will be used for the council management audit of the IT department. You will be seeing a budget transfer of $60,000 at the beginning of the fiscal year in July. That then will give us the total amount that would be available for this study. We do not have an actual amount, however, because we're in the process of interviewing consultants. There are 3 have been chosen to interview, and that amount, that will need to accommodate the full breadth of the study. There was some benchmarking in the fire department that is included now, but also there was a reduction in revenue of $18,000 from the tow rotation program. And as I mentioned, there are several other miscellaneous changes that are all in that schedule. So, the ordinances being considered include the salary schedule, the adoption of the budget, that's by ordinance as amended. There's a new tow rotation program fee, so there's an ordinance for that. Fee amendments for the building permits and sign permits, and then ordinance regarding building and construction standard amendments. So those are the 5 ordinances that you have before you to consider. The budget ordinances includes several schedules that include significant documents to you as a council. So the changes to the tentative budget, the personnel schedule, which sets the number of full-time staff that are approved, the council's budget message, the legislative intents for the next year. Those are the expectations of the council, the number of studies, number of specific things that we will be working with the administration are defined there. And then the financial principles, which are not being amended this year, but are being adopted again as guiding principles for the finances of the city. So that's the extent of my presentation. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have or concerns.
Mr. Cook, could you go back and where the 6 positions were eliminated? Could you review that? Tell us where those through retirement or shift in positions, or the positions were vacant anyway? Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
So we did review those with you in detail, and the answer is yes, all of those reasons were included. Now, I've not included in this presentation the detail of those as a separate list. So we have those, they're in your budget document. If you'd like us to, we can find out the page number for you to refer to in the electronic version of your packet. Would that be okay? Okay. Anything else?
Nice presentation.
Thank you.
Well done.
So you can now proceed on with the public hearing for the salary ordinance then.
Okay. Okay, we will now have the public hearing on the salary ordinance.
We do. I'll close. Seeing no public coming forward, I would make a motion to close the public hearing on the salary ordinance.
I'll second it.
Motion to close the public hearing on the salary ordinance from Councilmember Wicks and a second from Councilmember Van Hoosier. This is a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes. Sorry. Public hearing is closed.
I would make a motion that we adopt proposed ordinance 2013-25, adopting the salary schedules for all employees of the city.
I'll second it.
We have a motion from Councilmember Wicks to adopt proposed ordinance 2013-25 and a second from Councilmember Van Hoosier. This is a roll call vote.
Councilmember Gochner.
Aye.
Councilmember Heyer.
Aye.
Councilmember Stevens.
Aye.
Councilmember Van Hoosier.
Aye.
Councilmember Wicks.
Aye.
Vice Chair Garner.
Aye.
Chair Blair.
Aye. That passes. Next is the fiscal year 2014 city budget. We'll now have a public hearing on that.
Seeing no movement, I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll second.
We have a motion to close the public hearing for the fiscal year 2014 city budget from Councilmember Gochner and a second from Councilmember Heyer. This is a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Any further discussion?
I'll go ahead and make a motion to adopt proposed ordinance 2013-26.
We have a motion to adopt proposed ordinance 2013-26 from Councilmember Gochner and a second from Councilmember Heyer. This is a roll call vote.
Councilmember Heyer.
Aye.
Councilmember Stevens.
Aye.
Councilmember Van Hoosier.
Aye.
Councilmember Wicks.
Aye.
Councilmember Gochner.
Aye.
Vice Chair Garner.
Aye.
Chair Blair.
Aye. That passes. Next is the police fee change. Any further discussion on proposed ordinance 2013-29?
I'll make a motion that we adopt proposed ordinance 2013-29, the police fee change.
I second it.
We have a motion to adopt proposed ordinance 2013-29 from Councilmember Heyer and a second from Councilmember Stevens. This is a roll call vote.
Councilmember Stevens. Councilmember Van Hoosier.
Aye.
Councilmember Wicks.
Aye.
Councilmember Gochner.
Aye.
Councilmember Heyer.
Aye.
Vice Chair Garner.
Aye.
Chair Blair.
Aye, that passes. Next is building permit and sign permit fee changes. Proposed ordinance 2013-30.
Chair Blair, I would make a motion that we adopt proposed ordinance 2013-30, adopting a technical code-based fee schedule.
And I'll second it.
We have a motion to adopt proposed ordinance 2013-30 from Councilmember Wicks and a second from Vice Chair Garner. This is a roll call vote.
Councilmember Van Hoosier.
Aye.
Councilmember Wicks.
Aye.
Councilmember Gochner.
Aye.
Councilmember Heyer.
Aye.
Councilmember Stevens.
Aye.
Vice Chair Garner.
Aye.
Chair Blair.
Aye, that passes. And last is the building ordinance amendment, proposed ordinance 2013-31.
I'll go ahead and make a motion that we adopt proposed ordinance 2013-31.
I second.
We have a motion from Councilmember Gochner to adopt proposed ordinance 2013-31 and a second from Councilmember Heyer. This is a roll call vote.
Councilmember Wicks.
Aye.
Councilmember Gochner.
Aye.
Councilmember Heyer.
Aye.
Councilmember Stevens.
Aye.
Councilmember Van Hoosier.
Aye.
Vice Chair Garner.
Aye.
Chair Blair.
Aye, that passes. Next on the agenda is reports from the Planning Commission. Mr. Montgomery.
Mr. Chair and members of the council, this item that's before you really is kind of a follow-up to what the actions you've just taken. When we made some revisions to the sign ordinance, we realized that the fee schedule was actually in the ordinance and should have been placed in another area. And so you've already approved that being placed in another area. This is now to just eliminate it from the sign ordinance provisions. So it's pretty simple cleanup because you've already approved the other structures taking place in where they should be in the fee section of the ordinances.
Any questions?
Thank you.
Adopt the proposed ordinance.
We have to receive public input. Mhm. So we'll now receive public input on the sign ordinance amendment. Okay.
Okay, I just move that we adopt proposed ordinance 2013-31.
32.
I'll second it.
We have a motion from Councilmember Van Hoosier to adopt proposed ordinance 2013-32 and a second from Councilmember Wicks. This is a roll call vote.
Councilmember Gochner?
Aye.
Councilmember Heyer?
Aye.
Councilmember Stevens?
Aye.
Councilmember Van Hoosier?
Aye.
Councilmember Wicks?
Aye.
Vice Chair Garner?
Aye.
Chair Blair?
Aye, that passes. Next is public comments. This is an opportunity to address the council regarding your concerns or ideas. Please state your name and address for the record and limit your comments to 3 minutes. In this form of government, all city personnel are the responsibility of the administration, not of the council. Please discuss any concerns you may have regarding staff with the mayor, chief administrative officer, or department directors. Public comments? Okay. Comments from the administration?
First of all, I'd like to ask you to excuse the mayor tonight. He has been at a family vacation and didn't make it back in time, and so hopefully you'll excuse him tonight. On behalf of the mayor, though, and myself,
She does have a comment. It's public comment, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I would, on behalf of the mayor, like to thank the council staff, especially our staff, who has worked very, very hard on the budget this year. And on behalf of the employees who we have responsibility for, we thank you for the increases that you approved. It's a great start, and hopefully there'll be more coming in the years to come. Our employees are excited about the opportunity of having some increases this year and the 1% bonus. And so we thank you, especially on their behalf, for approving that. And I feel like the budget process this year has been healthy. There's been healthy dialogue. I feel like the directors were able to come in and speak their minds. They feel very free to do that. And I think that's just a healthy environment to be having budget dialogue. So we thank you, and we especially thank your staff, but I can't thank our staff enough, and especially these two ladies sitting in the back who worked and worked and worked and worked. And if you think about it, neither of them worked on the budget last year. And so this has been a new process, and we found how much information we didn't download from Mr. Arrington's brain. And they've done a great job at making up for that, so we thank them. We also had a very successful Weber State University Ogden City activity on Saturday with the Damian Lillard Day. There was probably several hundred people there. It was a great event. It was fun to see a fine young man who was willing to come back and do whatever they asked him to do for the community. He has great, and he talked about how he developed his shoe, because everybody of star status develops a shoe, and he had a piece for Sacramento, for where he grew up, or Oakland, excuse me. He had a piece for Ogden and Weber State, and then he had a piece for the Portland Trailblazers. And so if you think about it, we feel like we've had a great impact upon that young man and in our community, and it was just a neat experience to have. And further, a very natural opportunity to blend the university and the city in a very natural kind of an event. So a lot of purple there. There was one guy who had a University Utah shirt on, and I thought he was a little out of place. But other than that, it was a great event. And so we appreciated, there was a lot of work done by Amy Sue to help set that up. So we were grateful. That's all tonight.
Stand up fast enough is the issue.
Yep.
So I don't
I'm
know
sorry,
how
I
you
moved on too
couldn't
quickly.
see
Go
her
ahead.
because she
Yes,
was below the podium, so.
please come forward.
Sorry, I'm so short. But my name's Sherry Moriali, and excuse me if I get a little bit shaken up, but I'm a disabled veteran, and I am running for city council. One of the things I would really like to see here in Ogden is the fact that it's not very adaptable for physically and mentally challenged folks as far as the stoplights go and things. I've stood at several of the stoplights since I am visually impaired, and the sound is not there and all. And it's one of the things I would really like to see Ogden City do and all is enhance all of our stoplights, so then the visually impaired individuals will be able to know when it's safe to cross and we don't have any accidents. And then there was an incident 2 winters ago, excuse me, and some individuals in wheelchairs were trying to get across the street, and they couldn't because the sidewalks were blocked because the city had not come through and maintained clearing the sidewalks. And a couple individuals ended up going out in the street, which makes it very dangerous for them. So my request as a disabled veteran would be to see about getting some of these things done. And if I am elected, it's one of the things that I'm really going to push for to get done here in Ogden City. Thank you.
Thank you.
Chair, may I just make one response? If you'll make sure you talk to Greg Montgomery before you leave tonight. Greg is in our planning department, and he'll be able to maybe talk to you about what some of the plans are going forward, and maybe give you a phone number so that we can continue to communicate with you. So Greg, if you'll meet with her right after the meeting, that would be great.
Thank you. Comments from council staff?
I guess I forgot during the budget presentation just to mention that all of the administrative staff and all of the council staff, the budget is an additional big project. All the other work still gets done. And I think as a city, we move at a fairly fast pace, so there's a lot to do. So just say thank you for all of that as well. And then you as council members do the same thing. Lots of extra meetings, lots of extra, more than 1,000 pages of material to review on the budget. So thank you for your extra time and effort as well. Thank you.
Okay. And council members, and I apologize, I didn't allow you the opportunity to give your comments about the budget, so I guess you can do that now. Council members.
I just have to say the same thing that I think most of us have mentioned, and that is, it's a great thanks to this council staff, which supports us in helping us understand the budget process and keep things rolling, but also the staff from the administration and Mayor Caldwell. I think the process was a great success, and I think our questions were answered very promptly and very honestly, and if we had any, our staff jumped right up to help us make sure we made the right decision. So, a lot of cooperation is needed to pull off a budget of this size, and I appreciate the council as well.
And I would echo those sentiments. I've been involved with a lot of budget processes, and Lori Johnson has been great. She and her staff have been very responsive. The information they've been providing is clear, and what we're looking for, and that helps make it go a lot smoother when we have meetings, 2 nights a week until late at night. And I appreciate all the administrative staff who've, been through all of those meetings with us. And I think it was a good process, and appreciate all the hard work that everybody has put into it, and, input from the employee groups as well. So thank you.
I think as I review the budget process this year, there's 3 words that come to my mind: collaboration, responsibility, and flexibility. I think those 3 elements were very much involved in developing the budget. And when we go to collaboration, we have to thank our Bill Cook and our council staff for providing the information to the council members. The administration, their presentations was very understandable, and we could get to the source of what the idea or the topic would be at that particular time. And I think also the council members, our fellow council members, it's one of the main responsibility sitting on the council that we have is to develop a budget for the city. And this budget has to be responsible not only to the city, but to the citizens and also to the employees. And it was very gratifying this year to know that we are rewarding the hard work that our employees go through by giving them a 2% merit rate and also a 1% bonus. And that is saying thank you for all the hard work and professionalism that we have within the scope of our city. And we do have a lot of dedicated employees that spend many, many hours making sure that our city runs properly. And it is our responsibility to develop a budget that is responsible for the services to our citizens. And I think we do that. The flexibility of the budget is that we're looking not only to present presentations and present opportunities, but we're also looking to future opportunities of those things so that we can make life better here in Ogden. And I believe we are better today than what we were yesterday. And that is due to hard work, dedication, and service, not only to you as employees, but also to our citizens of Ogden. And I think that's what our budget reflects on, is collaboration, responsibility, and flexibility.
I guess I would just want to add that I heartily concur with everything that's been said by everybody. And just in case you didn't hear me last week, I have to give a special shout out for glass recycling. I just am so excited about that and think it's a great step forward for our city, and certainly fits in with all our sustainability efforts. So thank you.
And I've personally, mentioned to you, Laurie, and your team, and Camille, what a great job you guys have done. One of the things that you've really helped us as a council is what's been mentioned, to answer our questions very promptly and timely. But all of your presentations were done in a manner where we could understand the information, and that we were able to have that information presented to us early enough that we were able, in that 6-week period, to really look through it and make some conscientious decisions. And among the council staff and the council members, thank you. And we were able to really ask maybe some hard questions, but the cooperation among everybody was very remarkable. So thank you.
I too would just like to thank both the administration and our council staff for all the time and effort that went into this year's budget. I'm very proud of the budget that we were able to come up with, and I'm excited for the many different areas of the city that we were able to impact. And I think this budget does a lot of positive things for our city, both for our employees, for our citizens, for our resources, and for the wonderful things of our city. And I'd just like to thank everyone that put forth all the time and effort to do that. I would also like to say that I had a great time Saturday at the Damian Lillard celebration. I was able to meet with a couple Weber State administrators, and they really welcomed our participation in that, and they were very happy that we would partner with them in that, and that's been a wonderful partnership, being able to partner with our local university and move that forward. And I would like to thank both the administration and the council staff for taking that and making that relationship blossom also. So thanks on both of those efforts.
Maybe one last thing. Amy Sue, thank you for putting together a lot of the information in Schedule C for the citizens and others. There are a lot of additional comments that are in there from council members and quotes. So please take the time to read through these documents, especially that one, which we appreciate you putting together for us.
And with that, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I get a turn first.
Oh, no, you do. You do. So sorry.
I was trying to be polite.
Excited. I was like, we were under.
They just
we were going to have a record.
I guess they do.
I usually last.
It's like going to be a new time record.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, maybe I should shut up.
No.
I just look at this as we've arrived at the destination. That this is a big accomplishment. It takes months and months to get this done. But the journey this year for me was very enlightening and very enjoyable. Much thanks to Lori Johnson and her team, who speak English. They don't speak accounting or whatever that language is that others do. I appreciate the plain words that were given to help us understand. I don't claim to be the smartest person in the world, but because of all the good professional people that presented to us in such good ways, we were able to understand this, and I'm very happy for the budget that was arrived at. I'm happy for our council staff that work with us and lead us to understand what's happening. But it's a great time to finally be at this destination, and I did appreciate the journey.
I have one more thing if you're done. I just want to note that, Salt Lake had to pass a budget with an $8 million tax increase, which amounts to about $68 for each average home. And we were able to take care of capital improvement projects. I think we're very fortunate we have BDO funds. We have had fees go up with, utility increases and things like that. But I think the fact that we're able to maintain service levels and keep things taken care of, address capital improvement needs, speaks a lot to the ability of our city staff to make do with what they have and do a great job to be good stewards of those taxpayer dollars. So we're lucky we're not in that same position.
Okay,
Well said.
I'll try again. Motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
We have a motion to adjourn from Councilmember Gochner and a second from Councilmember Wicks. This is a voice vote. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay. And as a reminder, we will have a council work session following this to discuss council business.